Hi guys, my name is Rob from Urban Leaf, and in this video I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of the 7 most popular types of hydroponic systems. By the end, you'll have a solid understanding of what the different techniques are and how they work. In a separate video, we've actually taken 4 of the most popular system designs and compared them side by side. There's a link to that up here, so make sure you check that out once you've finished with this overview. Before we want to learn about the different types of hydroponics, I want to start by talking about plants' needs and how they work. Basically, plants can be split into 2 parts. The above ground part, the part we see, are the shoots, and the below ground part that we normally don't see are the roots. So the roots' main purpose is to absorb oxygen, nutrients, and water, and often anchor the plant. In traditional gardening, all of these things are provided by the soil. In hydroponics, we replace the soil with a nutrient-enriched water and a form of anchorage. I'm going to go over the different types of hydroponic systems. When comparing these, it's really helpful to look at the goal that they're all trying to achieve. That goal is to provide a mixture of air and nutrient solution. So the air has the oxygen, the nutrient solution has both the water and the nutrients the plant needs to grow. The first system I'm going to talk about is a drip system. It's also known as a Dutch bucket. This might be the most common type of hydroponic system, and it's certainly the most similar to natural conditions where rain would fall on soil and the soil would absorb and hold on to that water for a while. So about 3 times a day, maybe more, the drippers will go off and hydrate all these pebbles, and they'll kind of retain a coating of water, but they're still very granular, so there's a lot of empty space for air to exist in. And this system's great because it's very flexible. You can grow anything from tomatoes to eggplants. The modern sprout, their main planter, uses this type of system. The next system is known as deep water culture. It typically consists of a floatable sheet like styrofoam with holes for the plants on top of a deep kind of pool of water and a bubbler in that water. So its air-water strategy really relies on that bubbler kind of shooting a lot of bubbles up and keeping that water very aerated and a mixture of both the nutrient solution and air. It's typically used to grow leafy greens, and it can have a harder time supporting larger crops. Aeroponics is a really exciting hydroponic strategy that can support a diverse range of plants. It's based on the idea of having the roots grow in a space of air that's filled with little droplets of water. And there are a few techniques that are used to achieve that. One is called gravity aeroponics, or showering. So that's when you pump water up and you just have it drip down through all the roots. Getting a little more complex, there are spraying and misting. So either spraying, which happens at low pressure through a nozzle, it's kind of like soaking the plants, or misting through very high pressure, small nozzles. This is also known as like true aeroponics. And there's lastly using fog, so using an ultrasonic fogger to create a kind of a fog of very fine water particles suspended in the air. This is how the tower garden works. That works based off of a showering aeroponics, and the Sprouts IO unit uses fogponics. The Kratky method is the simplest of all the types of hydroponics. It's completely passive and really only involves a reservoir and something to hold up the plant. The air-water strategy is really quite simple. There's a water surface and a void of air above it. As the plant uses up water, the surface goes down and more air is available to the plant. This is how the Urban Leaf Windowsill Garden Kit works. Called the nutrient film technique. It uses a long channel with a thin layer of water that passes over the roots. This leaves a void of airspace on top and water in motion on the bottom. And that way, it's kind of similar to the Kratky style. This is a lightweight way of growing, but there isn't that much room for roots, so you mostly only see it with lettuces, leafy greens, and other small crops. The Ebb and Flow system is fairly common and works with a lot of varieties. It uses time to separate the air and the water. It does this by temporarily flooding all of the containers and all the media so the plants have access to fresh nutrients and water, and then it slowly drains them and leaves it empty for a while, giving them a chance to breathe and have access to oxygen. Although they're not available for sale anymore, this technique was the one that was employed by the Groves product. I've also included the Wick system. Even though it might not be considered a true hydroponic system, it achieves a lot of the same goals of low maintenance, ease of water, and a high degree of control. It uses the media's porosity and wicking capacity to suck water up from a lower reservoir. It's not considered true hydroponics because the roots are still getting the nutrients from the soil for the most part. So it's really just a way of maintaining a pretty even soil moisture state. And it mostly works with small plants where their ability to use the water isn't too much higher than the ability of the wick to reintroduce water into that soil. It's very common in products. You'll see it in a lot of mason jar gardens, or this kind of pretty one by Modern Sprout. It's also the system used by Click and Grow, which is a very popular countertop gardening product. Now that you understand the different types of hydroponic system available and how they work, head on over to our other video that shows you a side-by-side comparison of the 4 most popular types. So if you'd like to learn more about hydroponics, gardening, growing your own food, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with other videos you'd like to see from us. That's all for now. Happy gardening.